Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Tarina Anthologies. Today we are joined by Susanna Cornett, and we are going to talk about our beautiful Apocalypse release that comes out in like 14 days, guys. How exciting is that? So we all, each of the six of us have a submission in the anthology, and we thought we'd just tell you a little bit about our stories and some exciting things as far as we have a party coming up in our group for our launch. And so it's going to be on the 15th, probably about 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And we will be doing a raffle giveaway and some fun games. And just pop in and see who's there and have fun with us. All right. Susanna, since you haven't been on our videos before, I'm going to put you on the spot and ask if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Sorry for the horror lighting. I have the iPad sitting on my bed, which I am as well. I am by day a grant writer and have been for a long time, but I was a newspaper journalist way back in the day, and writing has been kind of central to everything I've done my whole adult life. Always wanted to write fiction and have played around with it here and there, but finally wrote a whole novel last fall, and I'm very pleased with it and plan to, I've started looking for agents, and I've written a query letter and had it reviewed by people who know what they're doing. And so I'm really ready to launch that. And I was very excited. Shauna and I have been kind of exchanging our writing for several months now. And so I was really excited when she invited me to be a part of this anthology. And it was the first short story that I had written, which unfortunately wasn't quite as short as perhaps it needed to be. Ish. Short-ish. Almost novella-ish. But it's about a woman, a hoodoo witch whose family is killed by some terrible people in the late 1800s, and how she uses a zombie to wreak revenge in modern day. So that's pretty much me and my story.
That's so interesting. It's a good story too, guys. I've read it.
Thank you.
Actually, it's funny. I wrote 2 stories for Beautiful Apocalypse. The first one was like just at 15, and then there were spaces that needed to be developed farther and or further. So I actually decided to write another story and move on with that one with Imogen at a later date. So now my submission is Chicken Little, and it's about a reporter who is in the White House when the zombie apocalypse starts, and she and her news crew and a very, special general, dear to my heart, escape, and it's just about them doing that. So I was very happy with both stories, but I did run into the same problem as you, Susanna, where I was like, this isn't gonna be 15,000 words with the first one. So I think the second one's 8, so it was good.
I stopped mine at 7 with a hanging ending that had everyone like, really? Because if I had kept going, we would have been pushing that 20K mark. So I had to rein myself in with the to be continued.
And your story is about?
My story is called Out of New York City, and it is about a kind of emotionally messed up, drug-addled screw-up who is kind of hanging out in this apartment in New York City during the zombie apocalypse. And she runs into a very, I don't know, what's the word for lathe?
Oh,
take control, but yeah, swoon-worthy. That's a good word for it.
Swoon-worthy.
definitely.
A swoon-worthy gentleman who shows up at her door, and they decide that together they have to get out of New York City before the government blows it into 2 million pieces.
Yeah. Shauna has a swoon-worthy gentleman in her story, don't you?
Oh, you think so?
I think there's potential there if we hang out with him a little longer.
Yeah, he's pretty nice. Yeah, my story is called Southern Hospitality, and it's about a couple of survivors who are out on a supply run one afternoon, and they meet up with a couple of zombies, but they also meet up with some people who are a little bit more dangerous than the zombies. So they have a exciting afternoon with that. And yeah, his name is Jake, and he's pretty swoon-worthy, I think so.
Yeah. And one of the things that's central in the beginning of Shauna's story is she just wants some yoo-hoo, and they want to go out and find that. And, that's kind of similar in Christy's story where she just wants Oreos, and she's looking for them. So
Oreos are good.
Yeah, tell us about your story.
Oh, okay. So my story is called Oreos and Guns, obviously. It's got to have the Oreos. Just like Laura said, there is a mission basically to get Oreos, and the two main characters, Sabrina and Braxton, are going from house to house to find supplies to survive, but Sabrina's main concern is about Oreos, and they get trapped in a house by zombies. And there's a little romance in there. So
yes, I think most of us at least try to put a little tiny bit of romance in.
They're just trying to get their way through the apocalypse, and they meet somebody really nice and cute, and they find out that for some reason they're immune to zombies. What could be the reason?
What is the reason? You
Oh,
will
and
have
read
Find out, don't you?
You'll have to read.
It's really good.
Did you say your title, Jack? I don't think you said your title.
No, the title is Oh Dear.
Oh dear.
I don't know. I think for the first one, I was influenced by iZombie because I really love that show. And then the second time around, maybe iZombie is not really the way to go in this in this anthology. But our fellow author, Christine, she's got some sentient zombies in hers, right?
Yeah.
So she couldn't join us tonight, but her story is also included in the anthology, and the name of it is
The Deathless.
The Deathless.
Exactly.
So good.
Yeah. And then we also have our friend Teese. She has a submission in, and hers is called Something Out There. And that one also takes place in New York because, sometimes you just end up in the middle of a busy city during the zombie apocalypse, and then what are you going to do?
Yeah, we both wrote about New York, and we both live in New York. And I wrote about New York City because of coronavirus. And I was like, what if this was this, but with zombies?
She's complained a couple of times that there are no zombies, just so you know. I'm actually really interested, Susanna, where did the inspiration for your story come from?
Well, it takes place in my home county, and it actually takes place, there is actually, those of you who've read it, when I talk about the road that goes beside the stream, that in the 1800s was an actual road that they used to move livestock to a local market town, that is real, and it runs beside my home. And I live where I grew up, and so I played on it as a kid, and it's always fascinated me. I wanted to use that road, and I just like the idea of someone being turned into a zombie to wreak revenge, and how could I put that in my home county, because it's in eastern Kentucky and not exactly a whole lot of hoodoo practitioners in this area. So that's where the box came from. And I think it was probably also to some degree impacted by all the unrest and things that are going on in a lot of their world, that some really nasty people get their comeuppance. So I think, as with a lot of writers, there's just a whole lot of loose threads that are hanging around in your brain at all times. And when you start thinking about them, they start weaving themselves into a picture, and then you start making that weaving purposeful. And I think that was a lot of what was happening. I wanted it to happen in my home county. I wanted to use that road, and I wanted there to be a revenge element, and that was how it came to be.
Wow, that's really good.
I don't know how
Sorry.
not to be detailed.
No, it's
important.
okay. Oh, that's actually a good thing as an author, because, you don't want to just mosey on down some sprawling, hallways and not really know
Out,
where.
Tasha.
Who does that?
Ow!
Nobody here does that, Tasha.
Nobody here does that, especially not me. And no, you can't have a floor plan.
It's all good fun. It's all good fun. All
For
right.
sure.
Well, what about you, Christy? What was the inspiration for you?
I'm a little obsessed with Oreos.
Okay.
I mean, I had to add that. I couldn't help it. I don't know. I like horror though, so I kind of knew where it was going, but kind of not at the same time. And I just like zombies. Well, and Oreos. That again. I just really like Oreos.
Well, I think you did a good job of like capturing a dark element of it, because your Sabrina is kind of haunted by, how things ended in her family. So,
Yeah.
I really like the juxtaposition between the like the very first part when she's like, I just want Oreos, screw this, is, really, it's almost like lighthearted, and then all of a sudden you just kind of swoop it down into, oh wait, this is a legitimate apocalypse and it's terrifying. And I think capturing those two elements was really cool right next to each other, for sure.
Yeah, I love the Oreos because it's like that one little part of the way things used to be that she wants so badly.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it would be pizza, but
Not a lot of pizza in the apocalypse.
I think that kind of happens in genres too, because then you're like, oh, hey, this is a normal interaction between people, and then it just goes up in flames. So
Right.
where was your inspiration?
Well, I don't want to give a lot of away that's in the story, but if you watch The Walking Dead, there's a part in that heavily inspired me. So, like I said, I don't want to really go into that, but and then there's also, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Book of Eli. There's a scene in that inspired me heavily also, and it's hard, like if I tell you what scenes, it's kind of going to spoil the story, so I can't
You know
really
what?
go
Let's
into
do a
it. But
follow-up video.
yeah, maybe we need
Tell
to
us later after everyone's read the book.
Yeah, but I liked both of those, so I kind of tried to time together and make a little story out of it. So
That's good. Jack.
Yeah, so my I don't really know what Oh Dear was inspired by. I was writing it in the last stages of writing Florida Is Gone, which has zombies of its own. I wouldn't say I was depressed, but I was in a very emo mood. So I was listening to like a lot of, emo music, and I went, you know what, I'm just gonna make something sad.
It does have that vibe.
It
It
has a
does.
vibe.
Yeah.
It has a really kind of sad, hopeless. I like sad endings. I'm sorry. You'll realize that with my second book. So get ready for that.
In the monster anthology, when we get
That
there.
has sort of a happy. No, I really like sad endings. I don't know why, because you don't see them a lot, and I know it's not really good for the reader, which kind of sucks. But I don't think things go well most of the time. And when I read about it, it's really cool because it's like, okay, well, I could see this happening. And there was an author who I really like. His name's Yahtzee Croshaw, but he, did this video about how to write well. And he said, if the story that you're writing isn't about the most important or interesting time in your character's life, then what's the point of writing it? And sometimes that's the worst moment of somebody's life. And I think we should get that out there more often because you don't really hear about the worst times in people's lives.
It's really good. Just
Anyways.
don't kill any characters that I love. This is a
I'm
blanket
gonna.
statement to everyone on this Zoom call and all authors out there in existence.
Kate, I see you down there. I see you ducking.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I've only killed one
Sometimes
person
being
so far.
friends with the authors is hard. So.
Yeah, sometimes you're afraid that your friends are going to kill you in your sleep. You did something to a fictional character that they didn't like.
You did what? First of all, how dare you?
These stories are all so different, and I think that's what makes it like extra cool is that everyone's story is like a completely thematically like point of view. There's just so much variation. So if you like zombies at all, there's going to be a zombie story that you like in it because there's like.
And even if you don't like zombies at all, I'm sure that there's still
There's
at
hot
least,
guys.
yeah, there's something in here that you would enjoy, I'm sure.
Definitely.
So, yeah. And this is just our first anthology. Susanna is going to join us for our second, which is Beguiling Beast. And our submission call for that has ended. So sorry if you missed it. But don't fret because our Magical Girls anthology call has started now today. The link is down there. We will put it there for you. Check it out. And thanks for joining us. Bye.
bye.
Bye.